Quazi here. Over the last year, it's come to surface that the government has been hiding something from each and every single one of us. It's a question that has been on the minds of billions of people since the H.G. Wells War of the Worlds. Are we the only living life form in the entire universe, or do we have company? Because after doing some research, mathematically speaking, the odds seem quite high that there is other form of intelligent life out there. Back in 1961, astrophysicist Frank Drake came up with something called the Drake equation. This equation estimates that the number of extraterrestrial civilizations likely to exist in the Milky Way galaxy is pretty high. And it's pretty scary to think about because it was this equation that was first discussed at a meeting hosted by Frank Drake called the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. Now, it's reported that in attendance were famous astronomer Carl Sagan and physicist Philip Morrison. And it was in this meeting that the idea of extraterrestrial life existing in our very own galaxy even became a possibility. But what's even more interesting is that the government keeps a tight lid on any potential evidence that may point to the existence of extraterrestrial life. Just look at the infamous Roswell incident that the CIA refuses to disclose, and places like Area 51 that are so secretive that nobody truly knows what's going on there. But what I find most interesting is this. What if the mere potential of ancient civilization holds the key to an even greater mystery that has evaded humankind for centuries? What if making contact with these beings unlocks understanding about the very nature of our reality in ways that which we can't yet fathom? What if the manipulation of our environment and even our consciousness is not limited solely to technology created here on Earth? Now, I believe that the existence of extraterrestrial intelligence may be tied to the power of reality creation itself. And as humans, we've only scratched the surface of the abilities that can be unlocked through contact with a higher intelligence. Abilities that could profoundly reshape life as we know it. In this video, I'm going to be investigating if this extraterrestrial life that we call aliens exists on a higher plane of consciousness, and share with you how you can enter these higher realms of consciousness with the aim to reshape your reality at a faster rate. So, without further delay, let's jump right in. Before I begin this video, I want to preface this by saying the belief that there are extraterrestrial beings, ancient forms of life, that's been there forever. That's been there since the dawn of mankind, since mankind could even write. And the very first instance that we can see is from the Epic of Gilgamesh, written in around 2100 BC. In it, there's mentions of higher beings that are flying around in their vehicles, sort of influencing mankind. That was based in ancient Mesopotamia. The next one is the Indian epics in the Mahabharata and Ramayana. And in it, they have mention of the Vimanas, flying vehicles. And even the Book of Enoch, that's around 200 to 300 BC, also has mentions of Enoch's journey through the heavens guided by angels. And some interpreters really believe that these angels in heavens could be viewed as encounters with extraterrestrial beings and otherworldly realms. Even if you look at ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, you can see there are flying saucers embedded in it. This kind of subtle mention of aliens has always really been there. Extraterrestrial beings has always been there. And I believe, they kind of portray these ancient aliens and entities as kind of gods because they were functioning at a higher consciousness level. If we try to understand the nature of consciousness, one man that's been very, very profound in doing this has been David R. Hawkins. He came up with this graph and he called it the levels of consciousness. In it, you can see that there's different levels and associated feelings or emotional tones that correspond to each and every single level. The lowest of which being shame. The predominant emotional state when you're in shame, what you function in, is humiliation. That's when you have the lowest life force, life energy available to you. The neutral point is courage. Courage is when we have the power to say, I can do it. The highest level of all, where all of the avatars resided in, the Buddha, Jesus Christ, Zoroaster, is the level of enlightenment. Logarithmically, it's kind of put at the level of 1000. And the lowest level is shame at the level of 20, you can see right here. What's very, very interesting to see and understand is in order to create our realities, all we need to do is move up in the levels of consciousness. Because if we do, we have more energy available. Now, most people think, by the way, that more energy means I can go out there and take action. But action does what? Action creates more disturbance. If you have to act in order to create something, you're automatically creating a byproduct, a problem. When you solve one problem, you create 10 others. The thing with action is it becomes very, very limited, and it's not the only thing that will help you create what you want. What needs to happen first before action is taken, fundamentally, we need to level up our level of consciousness, the state of consciousness from which we function. In order to become powerful creators of our realities, and why UFOs, why aliens were regarded as the highest, is because they function at a higher level of consciousness that's not comprehensible, but we cannot comprehend ourselves. In order to rise up in consciousness, the main thing we have to understand are the blockers that are preventing us from rising up in the levels of consciousness. So let's do an exploration of this. If I have this graph here, and on the y-axis we have the amplitude of energy, what is visible to us in the form of action or disturbance, how much disturbance we create in the field of the universe. And on the x-axis, if we have frequency. What you'll notice, by the way, is very, very interesting. Society likes to keep us in 4 main states. And this you can see in the graph here. They love to keep us in that orangey yellow area in fear, desire, anger, and pride. You might be asking, why? If we look at this as the levels of consciousness, the lowest being shame at 0 and the highest being enlightenment, it appears like there's no energy. It appears that amplitude-wise there's very little disturbance. People who are at shame, apathy, and guilt, they're at a state where it appears that they're kind of almost fading away. It almost looks very similar to enlightenment. People who are enlightened are also very quiet. But the difference is when you have something that's vibrating at such a high frequency, it's very, very hard to notice movement. Think about a fan whose blades are moving at a very, very fast pace. You won't be able to tell that the fan is moving. It appears still. So when you're vibrating at such a high rate, it almost appears still. That's why enlightened beings are very calm. They're very intense, but they're very still. This is where it gets really interesting. If we have this as the highest amplitude of energy, this must be the resonant frequency. That means this is where it appears to us that we have the highest energy. Can you guess what frequency this would be, which appears to us that we have the highest energy in? It's anger, isn't it? When we're angry, we slap our hands about and we take action, and it appears that we have a lot of energy, but we don't. This is simply the resonant frequency in this universe that we live in, where in anger, we feel like we can do things, but it still is a very low level of consciousness, okay? It's better than shame, apathy, and guilt, but it's still lower than love, joy, enlightenment. This range is where we would have these 4 main blockers. Please understand this. Society is always doing our best to keep us in fear, keep us in desire, keep us in anger, keep us in pride. How many times have you gone on a forum and you've seen people readily coming to defend themselves because they're so prideful of their country? What good has it done? It's only caused more war. You might think, oh, I'm so prideful and that's a good thing. Is it really? If it's keeping you stuck at a certain consciousness level where you can't really achieve the things that you want, is your pride really helping you? Fear, desire, anger, and pride are what society uses to kind of keep us conditioned to being a slave to their program. So think about it this way. What does the military do? The first and most important thing that's done in the military, like if you look at any biography of Navy SEALs, they sleep deprive you. Why? Because it's easier to program someone who can't think for themselves. That's what they're trying to do. That's what society's trying to do. All these social media platforms, all they're promoting are things that will make you fear life more. The news is all about fear, make you angry at things more. It's trying to get an emotional reaction out of you. Why? Because when we function at these levels of consciousness, we can be moved to do something. They can move us to do something. Please think about it this way. The next time you act and do something, what's your motivation? Are you doing it because something angered you, or something brought up desire within you, something outside of you? Or is this internally something that you really, truly want? This is why 99% of mankind is struggling right now, because they don't know what they truly want. Every single client that we work with, they think they want something because society has told them to want it. But when we can put all those to the side and really see, what does this person really want? What did they come to this earth with, that one core desire, that one core thing they wanted to experience that will end this karmic cycle for them? When we find that, that's when they find true fulfillment. That's when the peace, joy, and love naturally follows as a consequence. If you want to achieve any kind of worthwhile success in your life, that's what needs to happen. You need to attain true clarity, not this fake clarity that you think you want from what you've seen on Instagram or Twitter or the news or your parents or society has told you. So these are the 4 main blockers that we need to be consciously aware of. The very fact that you're watching this video right now means that you're at a state of consciousness where this was meant to come your way and you're meant to know this. So now you can begin to become aware of all of these things that are keeping you stuck in these 4 main levels of consciousness. Now you might be asking, how do we break out of it? Awareness is the first step. In the light of your awareness, it simply dissolves. Things get corrected. But there are other methods through which we can raise our levels of consciousness and become powerful creators of our reality. One example I can give you of what's happened to me in my personal life as a result of me functioning at a different level of consciousness is basically this. I remember when I was starting up in my business and I wanted to make a lot of money and be able to get the kind of life that I wanted, my goal was to make $20,000 a month. After using all of the methods and everything that I share on this channel, I was able to do it. Okay, I hit my first $20,000 month. But then what happened after that was I distinctly remember focusing on the 3 clients that I didn't get that would have maybe made me like $30,000. That could have been a 30K month. And at that moment, I became acutely aware because I was in this consciousness level of, oh man, if only I got those 3 extra clients. I was looking at what I didn't have rather than what I did have. How many times in your life do you think about the 1 or 2 things that you don't have, the 1 or 2 things that didn't go your way in your life, rather than the 99 things that did go your way in your life? The amenities that we have access to right now, the facilities that we have access to right now, this is crazy to think about, but no monarch, or even 100 years ago, had access to that. We press a button, our groceries are delivered. We press a button, we get a delivery same day from Amazon. No one had that 100 years ago even. We're living in a time where we're kind of spoiled, but as human beings, we've only been conditioned because of society, because of these blockers, because of all of these pendulums around us, these egregores, if you know what that means. They're trying to rob us of our attention, control us and puppeteer us by keeping us in these states of wanting the next thing, looking at the glass as half full. Apparently, it's a good thing to look at the glass as half empty rather than half full. We need to become acutely aware of the consciousness level that we're at. So in that month, when I was focusing on the 3 clients that I didn't get, I became acutely aware of what was happening, and I immediately shifted my focus to becoming more and more grateful for the clients that I did get and hitting my first 20K month that I wanted to. And I remember the more I focused on it, the more grateful I was about it. I made it a conscious effort to do that. Literally the following month, I hit my first 50K month. And it was absolutely mind-boggling to me. Now, I don't know if that was the actual literal cause, but I'm suspecting 100% that that had something to do with it. That had something to do with it in the sense that it influenced my actions. I took better actions from a better place, from a higher state of consciousness. So that's what I'm saying. The state of consciousness is fundamental from which you operate. That will influence the actions that you take. You will take the right actions if you function at the right state of consciousness. Now I want to share with you 3 main keys that you need to understand in order to function from a higher level of consciousness, a higher state of consciousness. Number 1, one of the most important things to getting rid of lower function of consciousness, you need to lower your importance levels by acceptance. Okay, if we go back to this diagram right now, the level of acceptance is around 350 in the energetic log. What this essentially means is we can bypass all of those by this conscious mechanism of accepting everything that happens. Even the worst case scenario. If something is a little bit too important to you, that thing runs your life. If hitting a particular revenue in your business is really too important for you, if paying your bills on time is way too important, what happens then? Your world is run by that limitation, the thing that you want to control and you want to make right. And I understand your situation may not be the best. You know, there's a lot of people in those kinds of situations, but you need to become conscious. If you want to break out of that, you need to take the first step so your reality starts to reflect that. Everything in life is easier said than done, but there's a reason why only a few can actually make it to the top, because they're willing to do these things and not make excuses about it. Look past your excuses and the things and the stories that you tell yourself and begin with accepting everything that's happening, because I promise you, if you can do that, when there is acceptance, there is a potential for change. Change cannot happen if we're lying to ourselves. If you look in the mirror and you're out of shape, you are in terrible health, you're a little chubbier than you want to be, and you want to lose weight. You look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I look great. when deep down you know you don't. Deep down you know your health isn't right. You might be like, oh, I'm manifesting, that's what's happening. But unless you're doing something about it, it's not really going to happen. This action too is a part of mindset, okay? So when you first accept and you look in the mirror and you say, yes, you know what, I'm not in the best shape, but from this point forward, I make the intention to be the thing that I want to be. That's more powerful than looking at the mirror and lying to yourself. We have to first lower our importance level. The thing that we're putting on a pedestal in our lives, it needs to be brought down even with all other things in our lives. When my business becomes too important to me, I find another hobby or something else to do to take my mind off it. That lowers the importance level down. I was reading a tweet by Alex Hormozi and he was like, the best way to cultivate patience is to make progress on something else. I realized that in my life too. Whenever I cultivated patience, when I cultivated a lower importance on the thing that I was putting on a pedestal, was just simply by making progress on something else. So that's what needs to happen. Whatever you're putting on a pedestal right now, begin by first accepting that this might not go 100% the way that you want right now, but eventually the thing that you want to create in your life, it will happen. You just need to stay with it. You just need to be patient. In the meantime, you need to lower your importance by focusing on other things. Focus on the things you do have. Focus on your family. Focus on the things that are going right in your life. This brings me to the second key, which is connecting with this ideal reality through gratitude. I can't tell you how powerful gratitude has been for my personal life, because whenever I'm grateful for all of the things that are going right in my life, vibrationally, this is a way for you to connect with that reality, first of all. When you're grateful for what you already have, you get more of that. Life gives us more of what we want and what we love, and more of what we hate, what we want to avoid. We get target fixation. Whatever we focus on, whether we love it or hate it, the content of that is what we get. If I love money, money will flow into my life. If I hate bills, more bills will flow into my life. Do you see what's happening? We need to closely pay attention to what we're focusing on. And you can do this in a very conscious manner with gratitude. If you want to reach a revenue barrier or break a revenue barrier in your business, the best way to do that is to focus on all of the money that you've already brought in and the successes that you've had in the past. Be proud of yourself for that and be grateful for that while focusing your mind on that goal that you want to achieve. What will happen is the vibrational state that you're in of gratitude in connection with money will transfer to that goal that you have, that you want, that revenue that you want, that money that you want to make in the future months. The final thing that I believe is very, very important, and this really complements number 2, is something I like to call attunement. Attunement is a direct way for us to attune to that vibration of money or the thing that you want, the health, the relationship that you want. And it's simply this. The thing that you want, first give it. I was reading Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad recently. He had one of the keys as, and I was very surprised to see this, one of the keys as the very thing you want, give it first. Find a way to give. And it's not like, if you want $1 million, don't give away $1 million. Like, that's not how it works. You need to just energetically attune to that. So even if you give away $1, it doesn't mean you will make $1 million. But get into that mode of giving. What happens when we give? When we give, we become open. We open ourselves up. What happens when we open ourselves up? Those who are open are also open to receiving. You cannot receive if you do not first give. I was making free videos like the ones that I'm making for you since 2019. And I didn't monetize it until 2020, a year later. And I was trying my best to just give away free value, and I still do. I try my best to give away as much as I can for free. And I know that this stuff that I'm giving away for free, I don't have to even ask for it. It'll come back to me somehow, one way or another. When you give, you become open. And when you become open, now you can receive. So this is the process of attunement. So what I want you to do right now is click right here. I made a video on the quantum law. You guys loved it. It got like 1.2 million views within a matter of a month. None of my other videos have done that, so I love you guys for that. That's amazing. But click right here to watch it. If you already haven't, I think it'll be really valuable for you in learning how to redirect your attention, especially in mastering this second process, learning more about where to place your attention and why you get what you hate in abundance and why you get what you love in abundance. So if you really master that process, I truly believe you can move towards that ideal reality that you want to move towards the fastest way. So click right here to check that out right now, and I'll see you in this next video. Thanks.